Hey girl, hey, I am so excited to have you here. I am Dr. Stephanie Lynn, and I welcome you into my home. It's another week and another episode of the Be Healed podcast, and I am so excited to share with you this week's topic. But before I share, I want to apologize for my voice, guys. I had a dental extraction and an implant prep done last week, and I was very disobedient. I had so many events lined up, and I had a very special guest that I was hosting. And so, I do what I do, which was not be obedient and sit down. So for the last 2 days, and then I had to sing at church. So for the last few days, I have been vocally constricted. And so I want to apologize because I know I sound a little bit like Darth Vader, but I'm hoping that you can still get the message. So today's episode, I'm going to piggyback off of last week's episode where I broke down the science of trauma and we talked about the 3 unmet needs. Well, today I'm going to give you 3 healing hacks that are going to literally change your life when it comes to healing. So grab a piece of paper, grab a pen, listen to this as many times as you need to. But these are 3 very practical healing hacks to help you on your healing journey. Are you ready? Healing hack number 1. Healing is about you. Healing is about your belief system. Healing is about your thoughts, your environment, and your life. I want you to really let that sink in, because a lot of times we want to heal from the things that were done to us. And I want to let you know that healing is about who you are becoming or who you were always destined to be, which is the God version of you, which is the spirit version of you, which is the true version of you. Now, as simple as this sounds, healing is about you. It is very delicate and in a lot of times difficult to peel back for one reason, because we are not living the lives we truly desire. I know you're like, what in the hell are you talking about, Doc? Let me break it down. Many of us, if not all of us, are versions of ourselves that our parents, our communities, our churches, our schools, and everything implanted in us. See, we were born a complete soul. Your body was already working when you got here. Your heart knew exactly what to do. Your vessels knew how to pump blood. Everything was already working because we are self-contained, complete living beings. But you learned how to talk by listening to the people around you. You learned social cues by listening and watching and being in the school and the churches and the community and going outside and playing with friends. You learned your values and your morals. Guys, these are the basic constructs of who we became in our very early and primitive years. That is who most of us became and retained for the majority of our lives. It's not until we started to question those beliefs, question those morals, question those values, those friends, those communities, and actually take a neutral position in our lives, meaning we stepped away from the life and begin to look and ask ourselves, now why the hell do I do that? Why do I say that? Why do I react like that? Why is she my friend? Why? When you start asking the question, why? That's when you discover, I didn't really come up with this belief system. Like, this value is a value that my community holds. I may or may not be aligned with that. So that's why I wanted to start with healing hack number 1 and let you know that healing is truly, truly, truly about you and how you relate to the communities, the constructs, the thoughts, the environment that you live in, that you've chosen to live in. Let's move to healing hack number 2. Healing hack number 2 is going to take a bit of work to really get around. So I want you to think relationally. I want you to think about your romantic relationships, platonic, your familial connections, your community, your organizations, if you're a part of any sororities. I want you to think about all of the relations. And I want you to get this one. People are not wrong. Ooh, I know that was very hard to hear. But other people are not wrong. And I know you're saying, how can you say that, Doc? When what she did to me was so hurtful, when he did was so hurtful, what they did was so hurtful and traumatic to me. Yes, it was hurtful. But in the construct of right versus wrong, just as convicted as you are about your beliefs, about your morals, about your values, they are too. Now, this healing hack even took the coach, even took me, the expert, the guru. It took me a little while to grasp. Because again, we live most of our lives based on what is done to us. And we think that our lives are done to us and we live the effect of our lives so much that by the time we start to sit in that neutrality that I just talked about, decades have passed. And so we don't take very much credit for the lives that we've constructed because we feel as though we're victims of our lives. And so we sing these songs in church, victory is mine, I'm victorious, and all of these things. And then we say that if we're engrafted in Christ, that we walk in victory. But oftentimes we don't really truly walk in victory because we are plagued by the trauma that we've experienced at the hands of other people. And then we take that trauma and we qualify and quantify our lives based on it. So healing hack number 2 is probably more important than 1, but you can't get to 2 without getting to 1. So now that we've accepted that healing is about us, now I want you to accept that the other person is not wrong. And they are just as convicted about their beliefs as you are. Here's why. We cannot control, change, alter, or modify any person, place, or thing outside of ourselves. I'm going to say that again because I really need you to get this is why the other people are not wrong. Because we cannot control, change, alter, or modify any person, place, or thing outside of ourselves. So for us to assume, assert, or project our meanings, our beliefs, and our values on other people is always going to keep us stuck. The only people that is going to ever hurt is us. Because by taking our meanings and taking what's important to us and our values and placing them on other people, places, or things, we then create this little subtle word called an expectation. And 90% of the time that expectation is unspoken and it is not agreed upon by the other party. And so what we try to do is align ourselves with people who we think have the same values. But I'm going to go back to healing hack 1. Everybody heals at a different pace. And so you may believe that someone has the same values as you because they grew up in the same church as you or they grew up in the same neighborhood, but they may not have that. And so you've befriended or you've fallen in love or you've taken a liking to or you've chosen to join a sorority based on who you think people are. And we take those assertions and those assumptions and we place them on other people. And then when we find out that we are at different places and we truly have different belief systems, now our heart is broken. And now we feel gypped. We feel dismissed. We feel however we feel because what we've done is we've tried to control. We've tried to assert. We've tried to place our expectations on others. And that is what keeps us hurting, guys. So the second healing hack is other people are not wrong. What the correct language is everyone has their own value system. And the key is to figure out what that is and then realign and readjust ourselves accordingly. Let's move to our final healing hack of today's episode. Now, this one is probably the simplest of the three. And so here it is. Healing is a personal journey. I just alluded to it a little bit. Healing is a personal journey. This is why conferences and summits and workshops and all of these things only work so much, because at the conference, everyone is aligned, everyone feels good, everyone is triggered, everyone is provoked or evoked to do change. But what happens is you leave amplified, you leave inspired, but you leave unequipped with how to get from hurt to healed. And so God has placed me, planted me, plucked me out, and placed me in your feed, placed me in your podcast recommendations, placed me on your YouTube, homepage, or however you have found this, because I can tell you how. I have the how. Why? Because I lived it. I went through it for 7 years. And so I can get you there quicker, faster, and the results can be more permanent. But it's your own journey. Your dark night of the soul is going to be very different than someone else's dark night of the soul. Your journey through organized religion is going to be different than someone else's journey. Your journey through figuring out your love relationships and how you're going to choose your friends and how you're going to reconcile previous negative experiences is your journey and your journey alone. Now, I've got some powerful tools. I've got E4 trauma method. I've got hypnosis. I've got rapid transformational therapy. I've got all of these tools in my bag. I've got spiritual psychology techniques. I can do past life regressions. We can look at your memories and we can assert the meanings. I can teach you how to do affirmations. I can teach you how to self-process. I have so many tools in my toolkit that are practical and that are permanent. That's what I said. Practical and permanent, so that the trauma that you're experiencing, you don't have to let it continue to shape your life. And so I want to invite you, write down these 3 healing hacks. And then I want to invite you to come into community with me. Continue to follow the YouTube page. Come into one of the discovery calls that I hold every week. I think I hold like 2 or 3 of them every week. They're group discovery calls. But go to my website, traumafreesociety.com. Click on the discovery call button. Hop on one of those calls. I do those calls myself. I don't outsource those calls. Get on a call with me. Come with your healing questions, and let's get you into a program that's going to help you go from hurt to healed. Because again, it is not only that I want you to look healed, I want you to be healed, which is why this podcast is called Be Healed with Dr. Steph. So let me give you the healing hacks one more time, and then I'm going to give you back the remainder of your day and your week so that you can put these into practice, and I hope to see you on a discovery call. Healing hack number 1. Healing is about you, not about anyone else. Healing hack number 2. The other person, place, or thing is not wrong. Their value system is just as important as yours is. And healing hack number 3, healing is a personal journey. I hope that I've said something that has sparked a change, that has sparked some type of evolution, or helped you to get an epiphany, to get you on the road to healing. It's time to stop pontificating and thinking about it and start moving towards the healed version of you. Visit me on my website, Trauma Free Society. Click the button where it says Let's Connect. Come to a discovery call. Grab your Healing on the Go bundle, which is a bag and a self-processing journal that's going to be over in my products on my website. It's on my first page somewhere. But let's get you healed, because again, don't just look healed. It is my prayer, it is my hope, and it is my promise that I can help you be healed. Until next week, have an amazing time, and I'll see you again. Bye now.